Here is another anthropology-inspired project that I saw online. It was about $60 to $100 per piece, so I picked up this woven placemat at Target for just under $5 and used a little bit of macrame cord, and I cut them into 6-inch strips and used a crochet hook to weave them on the outside of the entire ring of this placemat. This is just a very repetitive process of looping through our macrame cording around the entire exterior of this piece, trimming it once you're completely done, and then what you're going to actually do is unravel the entire strand of macrame cording. It's kind of like a rope, so it is pretty easy to go in there and kind of unravel it a little bit, and then you get the individual fibers, which I used a little pair of tweezers to just kind of brush out. And once you're completely done with that, you can again spray some hairspray on these if you want them to stand up a little bit more straight, add a loop on the backside to hang it on the wall, and that finishes off this wall decor. This is a super easy hack to make your very own sea glass vessels. So I got a couple of glass vases from the dollar store, and I'm going to be mixing some Elmer's glue with just some basic food coloring to create basically a colored Elmer's glue. And all you have to do from here on out is actually just paint this on the exterior of your glass vessel. And once it dries down, it's going to end up being such a pretty matte color. So I ended up applying just a decent amount of glue and then adding in a couple drops of food coloring. Do keep in mind that it's going to be pretty translucent, but once it dries, you're really going to be able to see that color. For this first one here, I just did a nice minty green shade, and for our second one, I added some more Elmer's glue into a Dixie cup, and I just went ahead and I did a blue sea glass, which I love the way that this one turned out. I went ahead and I applied a nice coat on the outside of our vessel, and then you're just gonna let them dry, and once they are dry, they look super cute like this. Back with another IKEA hacks, I'm going to be using this basket, which is the Snidad basket from IKEA, and I'm going to also be using the Hema light cord. So the additional supplies are just a wire cutter and some hemp cord. So the first thing I wanted to do on this basket was actually remove the handles because I want to turn it into a pendant light as opposed to a basket. So I just cut off these little raffia strands on the side there, pulled out the handle, which was just kind of nail gunned in. And once you have both of those handles removed, we're going to be flipping it over so that way we can create an opening on the bottom for our light cord. So I just went ahead and I actually cut diagonal across from each other out some of those little sections. So I went ahead and I cut this one out, I cut a little bit higher than that, and then directly across from that I did the same exact method of cutting them out. So I had two open holes here that I was then able to string my light cord through and kind of tie it onto that middle intersection and allow my light to hang in the middle and also me hang it from the ceiling there. So I just dropped through my light cord, wrapped it around, tied it on the inside there, as you can see, in just a simple little knot, and then I strung it back out the top. That way I was able to hang it up. Just insert your light bulb and that finishes off this pendant light. When it comes to shelf styling, I love these kind of geometric brass or just metal objects. I think they're so much fun. So I ended up creating my very own using these wind twisters from the dollar store. This is what they look like originally. They are so ugly, but I actually glued a couple of them together to start, and I used a wooden dowel as kind of the base for our little structure. So I'm going to be sticking that through, applying some hot glue, and just hot gluing down our wind twister onto it. But do not worry, we are not going to be leaving this rainbow. We're actually going to transfer it outside and spray the entire thing with a brass or whatever color spray paint you want to put on there. I ended up opting for brass just because I feel like it gave it a very kind of unique and cohesive look. And then of course we needed to create a base for our sculpture. So I got this little wood cube at Michael's, and I'm going to be covering it with some marble contact paper just to make it look a little bit more luxury and high end. And I just kind of did this how you would a present. I just cut off different edges and made sure it was nice and flush. Created another one, just a matte black box, to give you guys options so you can kind of see what it would look like. And once I had both of my box pedestal bases, I just drilled a hole down the center of them, which I could then go in and apply the stick with a little bit of hot glue so that our sculptures can stand up. So I piped in a decent amount of hot glue, pressed my stick on the inside, just made sure it was standing upright, and do not worry about this at all. It is super lightweight, so it's not going to topple over, and that finishes off our brass sculptural objects. If if you're into geometric shapes and 3D art, this one is perfect for you. So I basically went ahead and I grabbed these little wooden dowels here that I got at Michael's, and I'm going to be creating some pyramids out of these. So I actually, again, work on parchment paper for these kinds of projects. That way I can easily peel them off once I am done. So I believe that I ended up creating about 7 of these pyramid shapes, and I'm going to be painting 3 of them pink because we are also going to be going onto our canvas and taping off a diagonal section, which we are also going to be painting that same exact pink color. So on the smaller side, we're going to be painting the pink side and adding 3 of our little pyramids that we also painted pink onto that side. On the opposite side, we're going to be adding just our wood pyramids just opposite that, and that really finishes off this art piece. It's super simple, but also very fun.